What is going on, my Jets family? Happy to see you guys on this Monday evening. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. As you know, you got me, Harrison Glazer. I'm excited to be here with you guys on this Monday evening. Thank you again for tuning in. See some more guys coming in now. So, as you guys know, I have my training camp preview. I did it back 2 weeks ago. There was some dead time going on, and I do my podcast weekly, and we did it then. It was 2 hours long. Shout out to Zachary. We got Zachary in the chat. Zachary's saying, what's good, man? I'm good, man. I'm excited. But yeah, we did our training camp preview. If you guys didn't check it out, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. We went into literally every position because there's a lot of positional battles. They're going to be coming up in training camp, like a lot, like 10. And when you think about that, you maybe at first think, oh, well, maybe that's, a bad thing, but it's not. It's actually a great thing. And the reason is, and we've talked about this before, you guys know, as, me, lifelong Jet fans, you guys, lifelong Jet fans. Shout out to Grant. We got Grant in the chat. Sup, my man? I'm good. Says, how's everyone doing? I'm doing good. But, us lifelong Jet fans, we've consistently seen something. Appreciate everyone coming in. Appreciate everyone tuning in. But, as lifelong Jet fans, we've consistently seen this team not be talented. We've consistently seen a lack of talent, in so many positions, consistently not surrounding our past quarterbacks with talent, which is the opposite of what we're doing now. It all trickles down. It trickles down from the top to the bottom. And as you guys know, I've been a big fan of Joe Douglas a long time. I felt like for the first time in ever, we had a GM that could really be great. And I felt like he was. And brought us in the right directions, bringing in the right free agents. As you guys know, we've talked about the draft picks. But it's super exciting. I'm excited, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I see you guys in the chat. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you, everyone, again, coming in here on your Monday evenings. Appreciate it. So like we said, we went into the training camp last time. We talked about training camp 2 weeks ago, talked about all the positional battles, and there's a lot of them. And basically what I was saying was, that with a lot of positional battles, that it's actually a good thing because it shows that you actually have talent. For the first time in really forever, we were just talking about, the bad teams, bad GMs, bringing in not the right players. You can't wind up becoming good. I mean, it's obvious. It's pretty obvious. So it's very simple. That's how, I appreciate everyone. Yeah. Tuning in, see it right now. Appreciate it. But yeah, guys. So I'm excited about all these positional battles. I really, really am. I'm super, super excited. So we have a lot. I mentioned, right guard. I mentioned corner. Mentioned wide receiver too. Shout out to Richie. I was on Richie's podcast earlier today. We were chatting about the Jets, talking about, some things coming into training camp. So yeah, what I want to do with you guys today, because like I said, we did our training camp preview. It was like, I think about an hour and a half long. We went into all the positions. We got into, like we said, right guard, cornerback. And like I was just saying, that's good. It's a good problem to have. The problem is having too much talent. The problem is who's going to step up, because we were able to bring in guys like Morgan Moses, solidify that offensive line. And now at right guard, maybe George Fant can be the guy. Obviously, Greg Van Roten seems like the candidate to win the position. There's a lot of other younger guys. Wide receiver 2, is Keelan Cole going to be the guy? He's said to be the better route runner, which is better for this system. But Mims, former second-round pick last year, should have been a first-round pick. Wide receiver 1 potential, as we've talked about. It's exciting. So that's another interesting one. Tight end is an interesting one. There's a lot of interesting battles coming up. So what I want to do is I wanted to give the floor to you guys today because, again, like I was saying, check it out. Whole episode, we got into, all the different positions. We talked about, the defense, the linebackers, so many different things. So I wanted to, again, give the floor to you guys. So today is going to be total fan Q&A, unless you guys just want to talk about camp. We can talk about camp. I didn't know if there's certain players you guys wanted to talk about, certain positional battles. So we got Grant first coming in. Appreciate Grant with the questions. He says, what makes you think Fant would do well at guard? Interestingly, and I'd said this before in my takes with Fant, it's really just kind of why not? I mean, he's one of the most athletic offensive linemen in the entire NFL. So this system we have, the system requires a lot of pulling from guards. Needing athletic offensive linemen could be a very, it is a very important thing to have. His ability to get out, make good blocks. He was good as a tackle, but again, very athletic. I say, why not? I mean, most likely Van Roten's going to get the job. And as we talked about in the training camp preview, there's nothing wrong with that. Van Roten was a solid, average offensive guard for years with the Carolina Panthers. And the way I looked at it when we signed him back 2 years ago, I was like, oh, well, back in 2019, sorry, in the beginning of 2020, I was saying in 2019, our offensive line was bad. And bringing in, an average guy like him is a big jump. I was excited by bringing in just an average offensive lineman. What I like about him is he's a solid technician. He's got excellent footwork, excellent hand placement, really good technique. He's not the strongest guy, but he's a very good offensive lineman. So he most likely is probably going to win the position, but you got guys like Tristan Hodge who could potentially come out of nowhere. As an undrafted guy, he shined a little bit in OTAs, but again, that's before pads go on. You remember we've talked about, lots of short superstars. A lot of guys look good in shorts, but it's all about what happens when they put the pads on, when they start to, really hit, and especially preseason, as we talked about, when you start to see the way you look against other competition. So back to Grant's question, we haven't really seen him play guard, but it would be interesting to have that. I have him in the mix because why not? I mean, he's a quality offensive lineman. He could wind up being better than everybody else. So he's in the mix, but it most likely could be Van Roten. Alex Lewis is a dark horse. I mean, I'm not a big fan because I look at him, as we've talked about, the opposite of Van Roten. He's just more of a bull. Like, he is a very strong dude. Definitely the kind of guy I've joked about. If I get in like a bar fight or something, I want Alex Lewis with me. Alex Lewis is the guy that throws like 2 punches and knocks 3 to 4 people out. But when it comes to offensive line play, I've compared it to like, Alex Lewis being more like James Carpenter. If you remember, I joked about him in camp when he used to play at the line. I almost looked like like a bucking, like the way he was, because he was he was a beast and he was a strong guy, but that's how he always won and always played. He, like Alex Lewis, tended to find himself off balance, out of alignment with the wrong footing. But you get the opposite with Van Roten. I've joked about, putting them together. But it's going to be an interesting competition. Shout out to Sean. Appreciate Sean in the comments. He said he heard that Chandler Jones wants out of Arizona. Do you think JD would be interested? I mean, it is a quality edge rusher, but I feel like I really like the way we look right now. And as you guys remember, that was my interesting take. Everyone views, John Franklin. And as you guys know, I had Franklin Myers on for an interview. And if you guys didn't check it out, he was on my podcast for an exclusive interview. We talked. He made a lot of good points. He pointed out how he looked. I asked him questions about how last year playing inside, how he was able to have such a more productive year. He had said that, he really hadn't played inside before, that he'd always played more of an end, and it kind of just fit for him. So I feel that, especially after last year's production, kind of like same thing with Quinnen being used at a position, I'm excited by our actual edge rushers, like guys like Carl Lawson, obviously, our best potential edge rusher since John Abraham. You guys remember the stats I pointed out, 64 QB pressures in the season. That's 4 a game, 32 QB hits. That's 2 a game. The sack numbers aren't there, but they'll be there. When it comes to QB knockdowns, he's got the same amount as TJ Watt. So the production and the level's there. But people sleep on Vinny Curry. Vinny Curry, remember, John said it. John said how great everyone else looked, how Carl looked good, Foley, Nathan, everyone looked good. Sheldon looked good, but he said Vinny looked special. Remember, he said Vinny had the fastest get off right now at 33. He said Vinny has the fastest get off I've ever seen in my life. And he's, again, 33, but last year had 10 quarterback hits. That would have been 3rd on the Jets this year. Last year. That would have been 3rd on the entire team at 32 years old. So I'm more excited to see, again, what these quality edge rushers can do. I think, again, Carl Lawson is everyone loves the signing, but it's underappreciated. I feel like he has the potential. Remember, the example I gave you guys was literally be like the Shaq Barrett example. I remember how Shaq Barrett with the Broncos wasn't putting up huge sack numbers, but his PFF rankings were always high. I mean, that's weird to be an edge rusher and have 1 to 2 sacks a season, yet have a PFF of 80. That's a little weird. It was because he played at such a quality level like Carl Lawson does, but the sacks weren't there. We said the same thing about Leonard Williams. Remember, Leonard Williams was playing at a high level, multiply getting double teamed, was an excellent player, but the production wasn't there. Well, it was just there with the Giants. And as we know with Shaq Barrett, when he went to Tampa Bay, the production came on in spades. Now, again, I'm not saying he's going to have 19 and a half sacks, but I really, really do think double-digit sacks is in his future 100%. I see 10 plus, if not maybe even 15 or so. Because, again, he plays at that level of, TJ Watt. And that's one of the best edge rushers in the league. And as you know, had 15 sacks last year. So, Vinny Curry, massively slept on. And you have more natural edge rushers. You have Bryce Huff. Remember, I had Bryce Huff on the show. I really like him as well. Felt like he's massively slept on. I really love his edge potential. Now, I like him more than Jabari Zuniga, but Jabari's an option too. So because we have such natural edge rushers, I'm kind of interested, and I'm thinking JD, back to again Sean's question, may not want to do that and see what this actual group of edge rushers, especially with Vinny Curry being the mentor. Vinny's going to mentor Lawson and Huff and Zuniga, and maybe one of them, well, obviously Lawson, but maybe Zuniga or Huff, and I really think Huff are going to shine this year, and I think Vinny will too. So I really like the edge rushers we have right now. So, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. Sean also points out, again, shout out to you guys, appreciate it, says Tristan Hodge will surprise people. I felt that way too. I mean, what I like about Tristan Hodge is, again, he has that chemistry already with Zach Wilson. And chemistry is underrated. I mean, you're protecting the quarterback for a living. So it is beneficial to have a guy who protected Zach Wilson for a living already. I mean, not getting paid to do it, but still, for, I think it was 3 years? Might have been only 2. Might have been only 2. I'm not 100%. It's either 2 or 3. But he protected him, and he played well. The problem was due to injury and actually getting COVID, of all things. He was out for a while, and it really shattered his draft stock. But some thought he'd be a late-round pick. He shined really well in shorts, but again, we talked about it. We see shorts superstars all the time. So the difference, though, with offensive linemen, and as you guys know, we've talked about this, offensive line is one of the few positions in the NFL that still takes time to develop. It's not like a wide receiver, a running back, or even a quarterback now where they're ready to go. Offensive line, a quality of a defensive edge rusher in the college level compared to the NFL level is like night and day. It's massive disparity difference, especially even with interior edge rushers. It is a big jump. And that's why as we talked about in the past, NFL ready offensive linemen go fast. Guys like AVT, you trade up for them. People not liking the trade, you have to. You want a player of his quality, that's it. Either you trade it up or you don't get him. That's it. With players of that level that are ready to go day one are high picks, because most offensive linemen aren't. So that was my big thing, as you guys remember, with Cameron Clark. I thought Cameron Clark, again, had a year to sit, get better. I really thought he'd shine this year. But again, with a guy like Hodge, offensive linemen take time to develop. JD's an offensive line guy. He knows that. He gets that. He shined in OTAs. So I feel like Hodge, no matter what, is destined for the practice squad, is what I would say. Offensive linemen that even just shine in OTAs, he's destined for the practice squad, even if he does nothing in training camp. But hell, like I've said to everybody, as you guys remember, I've said my big take is, other than Zach Wilson, open board. Whoever wants it, come and get it. You want to be wide receiver too? Be that freaking wide receiver too. You want to win the running backfield committee? You're Ty Johnson and you want to be the guy? Step the hell up right now. Earn it. Everything other than Zach Wilson, wide open in my opinion. But even if he doesn't shine in camp, I still think he's destined for the practice squad. But again, back to that shining, he's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance. Maybe it's in a preseason game. He's going to get a chance. If he plays well, maybe he's a backup. maybe we keep him on the team as a backup. So I think guys like him, maybe Parker, other UDFAs, specifically Hodge, but maybe even Parker, their destiny is practice squad and maybe backups if they play well from here on. Training camp and preseason, my message to them, earn it. And if you earn it, you make the team. Otherwise, you're practice squad. But specifically Hodge, I think Hodge is safe from what he's shown alone in OTAs, as well as even alone just having the connection with the quarterback. I think he's destined for practice squad at minimum. Other guys could get cut. I think he's minimum practice squad. So Graham points out Hodge is too slow for a wide zone blocking scheme. A lot of people say that. And as you guys remember, I get it. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid. I get it. But I am not a fan of archetypes. As you guys remember, I've had a big thing with the combine. I joke all the time with, John Elway and the Broncos. I make jokes about that when you focus too much on a measurable or a number or, what this is supposed to fit like this, you miss out on. Remember my joke? My joke was, again, it's just focused, I guess, on the Broncos. When you do that at quarterback, you draft a Brock Osweiler, you draft a Paxton Lynch, and you miss out on the Kyler Murrays of the world. You miss out on the Russell Wilsons of the world. So I've never been too much when people say they're not fast enough to line up. Same reason with Fant. I come back to Fant, same way. Yeah, he's never played guard. Show me. That's the point. Like, same thing here. Same kind of concept, honestly. Do you think they're too slow? Let's see it. Let's put him in. Let's see what happens. So Fant, let's see what he does at right guard. Hodge, let's see if he's too slow for the zone blocking scheme. There's only one way to find out, and that's on-field application. So checking out some of your other guys' questions. Sean pointed this out, and I was kind of saying it before, but I noticed I got a little distracted by some of your comments on if I made the full point. So I'm going to circle back to that. Now look at the comments for a second. Just keep asking though, guys. Appreciate it. Please keep asking in the comments. This is the whole point. The whole point of this was fan Q&A is, again, we did our training camp preview. Again, if you guys haven't checked it out, it's like an hour and a half long. It's 2 weeks ago. It's two or three videos ago, I believe. It's like an hour and a half of all the positions, literally all of them. So, but like Sean points out, like I was saying before, it's depth. It's important. You guys know, you feel it. How many times over the past years with the Jets do we see, the wide receiver room is just nobody. And it's like, who's going to step up? Now the question is, okay, well, we have Keelan Cole and Denzel Mims. You can make an argument that both of them are really good or really quality. Who's going to get it? Cornerback too. People say we're worse off than we think. If you guys check out, again, shout out to Richie Malora and Jets Media. When I was on their show earlier, they asked about stars at camp. I mentioned Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall, as you guys remember, I was huge on. Check it out. I forgot the name of it. I apologize. They were an amazing podcast. It was two guys. It was Adam and two guys. They were awesome. It was a lot of fun. I did a podcast with them, and I did it early in the season. And they had me on later, and they said they went back to look at my takes to see what I said. And one of the big things they said is I kept talking about Bryce Hall, and I've been doing that the whole season before he played. I kept saying, look out for this kid. Look out for this kid. He's a future starter. I didn't think he'd be this good this quick. Last year, as you guys remember, in this horrible system of Adam Gase and Greg Williams working against them, guys like John Franklin Myers, guys like Bryce Hall, they showed up. They showed up with the odds against them, with adversity against them. Remember, that's Robert Saleh's thing. I want to see what you can do against adversity. Well, let's be honest. The players last year that stepped up, we know what they can do against adversity because they faced adversity and they overcame it. So guys like John Franklin Myers, Huff even played really well. But Hall looked like a CB1 in a bad system. Played only a few games. Man, I'm excited. I feel like people say our CB room isn't that good. I think Bryce Hall is going to surprise a lot of people. I said again last season that he'd be a starter before everyone knows it. He was so good so quick. My new take now, telling you right here, he's going to blow you guys away. Everyone who's saying our corner room isn't that good is going to watch Bryce Hall lock down some wide receivers, and they're going to go, okay, our quarterback room isn't as bad as we thought. I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on Bryce Hall. So, again, bring your comments, guys. I appreciate it. Bring, that, again, is the whole point of this show. Anything you want to talk about before training camp starts. Because as you guys know, training camp starts in just a day. Training camp starts tomorrow. Training camp is happening. So as we go through the comments, again, bring it, guys. Bring all your questions. Sean, shout out, says John Franklin Myers might surprise a lot of people. Salah's defense needs great pass rushing ends. Salah's defense needs a great group of guys that can get to the quarterback. That's what this defense is predicated on. This defense is designed with getting to the quarterback. You guys remember I pointed out that going back to the beginning of Robert Salah's tenure with the 49ers, his team was always top of the NFL, top 5, I think at worst top 10 in quarterback hurries, getting to the quarterback, causing disruption. Even last year with Bosa out, their star Ford out, they still got to the quarterback more than every other team. That's what this defense is based on. So that's why, again, shout out to Jets Media on his podcast earlier. They asked what I'm most excited to see when training camp starts. I'm excited about a lot. I'm excited about our offensive line, the guys we've signed. I love Zach Wilson, as you guys know. I'm excited to see what Moore can do, what Carter can do. But I'm really, really excited to see what this defensive line can do, because this defensive line is going to be the lifeblood of our defense. And as we know, as Jet fans, the defense, for how long as you can remember, I can tell you it's like almost my whole existence, the defense is always the lifeblood of our team. So if the pass rush is the lifeblood of our defense, and the defense has always been the lifeblood of the Jets, then this pass rush will be what makes and breaks this team. And that's why I'm excited. We got Quinnen Williams, JFM, Sheldon Rankins, Curry, Huff, Lawson, Foley, who's an underappreciated run blocker. Foley Fatukasi is one of the better run blockers in the NFL at a young age. I hate to say it, I don't want to go too off topic, but Nathan Shepard was only okay last year. Foley Fatukasi is rated in the 80s every season in the last 2 years. He's had an 80 and an 80, basically 80 point something and 81 point something PFF the last 2 years, because he's one of the better run stoppers in the NFL. As a young kid, he's one of the better run stoppers, and he's not the worst pass rusher. So because he's going to be a free agent the next year, and it depends. It's if everyone else steps up, if Rankin steps up, because he may not. Remember, we took a flyer on him. He may not step up. If obviously Williams is going to step up, if Rankin steps up, obviously Lawson's going to step up. I think Curry will step up. If enough guys step up, maybe Foley becomes tradable. If a team wants a quality young guy like him that's like a Steve McClendon, think about it, a guy that is an excellent run blocker and a pretty decent pass rusher, but young, right going into his next contract at the end of the year. I think potentially, if somebody offers, I don't know, a second, a third, maybe even a fourth, I think the Jets might be on that. So that's just my interesting take with that. But again, it's predicated on others stepping up. For all we know, hell, maybe Foley's going to be the guy. If Foley's the guy, that's awesome. Again, right now, it's anybody's team. If you want to step up other than Zach Wilson, take it. Be the guy. If you want it, get it. Now's your time. So again, guys, appreciate the comments. Appreciate you guys shouting them out. Again, I'm going to bring them up here. We'll talk about everything. That's what we're doing today. Just going to have some fun, talk about it. So love it. Graham point out, imagine the Jets having a D with double-digit sacks. Bro, I'm going to take it far enough to – I almost hate guaranteeing something, but I really feel that confident. Like, I really, really do. I mean, look what Lawson's done. Lawson's QB pressures rank in the top of the NFL. His QB hits, top of the NFL. His QB knockdowns, tied with first for TJ Watt, a guy that had 15 sacks. I feel like, again, I look at the Barrett situation. He was always great. It's not like he was traded to Tampa Bay and he's like, now it's my chance to become great. It just didn't work out for one reason or another. I feel like now is Lawson's time. Now is his time. And I don't want to guarantee anything because I can't. I don't control any of it. Anyone who thinks I do is out of their mind. But I really feel like it's almost a lock, man, for Lawson to get that double-digit sack. I really, really do. And don't sleep on Curry. I mean, again, with 10 QB hits a season, last year, he had I think 3 or 4 sacks. He could be good for another 5 more. We see good production out of Huff. Between the 4 of them, 5 of them, they could have 20-plus sacks just from edge rushers alone. We could have edge rushers alone potentially having 20 plus sacks. And that's just super, super exciting. We got Frankie here. Sup, Frankie? Frankie says, sup, fellas. Appreciate you guys. Harry asks, when will Zach sign? I've been covering this on Twitter. Guys, my big take on this, take a deep breath. It's okay. Zach Wilson is our quarterback. He's not going anywhere. He's going to sign. I 100% guarantee you that Zach Wilson will sign a contract. I can't guarantee when it will happen, but I 100% guarantee you that it will happen. So don't let it stress you out. Don't let it bother you. Harry, I'm with you, my man. I'm Harry. I'm Harrison. Harrison to Harry, my man. I got you. I love Zach. I mean, Zach's my guy. He's not going anywhere. This is our quarterback. We drafted him at 2. He has the potential to be the best quarterback in this whole draft. He's not going to not be signed. Right now, they're hammering out details. He wants this. They want that. We have Joe Douglas. We love his negotiating skills. Well, when you have a guy who negotiates, guess what? He negotiates, and that's what he's doing. So I can't guarantee when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So I'm not stressed about it. Zach Wilson will 100% be signed by the time this season begins, and he will 100% be our quarterback of the future. So just don't let it bother you. So appreciate you guys all in here, all making excellent points. Yeah, Sean points it out. What I was talking specifically about edge rushers. I wasn't counting guys like Wilkerson and Ellis. Wilkerson, man, I have my take on Wilkerson. I don't want to go too off topic, but tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. But I'm legit convinced Muhammad Wilkerson robbed the Jets. I'm legit convinced he robbed us. Because hear me out. Feel me. The dude had 12 plus sacks like multiple years. Before he got paid, he was killing it. He was like taking the NFL by storm. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I know after he got paid, he laid a golden egg. He didn't do anything. Like anything. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like the only thing that makes sense to me is, well, I got paid, so I don't want to get hurt. Like I got paid and I'm not going to put it all on the line and get myself killed because I got my money. So I legit felt like he robbed us. Like that always kind of bothered me. I'm just saying, I don't know if anyone ever felt that way. Just throwing that out there. It's my little beef with Muhammad Wilkerson. I've always been kind of, not too happy about that. Like Sean points out, he had 12 and a half sacks in 2015. I mean, what happened? You just forgot how to rush the quarterback? Like you forgot how to play football? Like, wait a minute, the money caused me amnesia. What happened? I don't understand where I am. Come on, bro. Come on, just come on. So, yeah. Shout out to Gotham City Vids. Appreciate you, bro. He said Hall was an absolute steal. Wanted him in the 3rd. I was the same way. Man, I loved Hall. As you guys know, same reason I love Mekhi Becton. I'm a huge ACC guy. Like, I think ACC football is underappreciated. Like, people just talk about Clemson, but there's talent throughout the ACC. So I love it. I mean, I love football, period, but I'm a big ACC guy because, again, just, want to share as much as I can with you guys. As I told you guys when I was growing up, my dad went to Duke and he was a big Duke fan. So I grew up watching a lot of ACC basketball and some football, specifically Duke, and I just started to like their teams. Like I was like, I'm always watching Boston College or Pitt or Miami or NC State or somebody. So like I became a fan. Like if I watched them play somebody else, I rooted for them. So I became a legit ACC fan. So as you guys know, I love Becton. I was saying like that was my guy. But Hall, man, I loved his potential. What I loved about Hall and what everyone forgets is, and what's interesting, last year he had to play in the man system. Before that, in college, he thrived in zone. He was one of the better zone coverage guys in all of college football. He really was. But because of injury, he fell in the draft. I've been saying that. Remember, I was saying back when I was saying, Hall can be a CB1. Remember, I was talking about that. I, had this guy potentially as like Vids does in the third round. Figured maybe he'd go in the fourth. I was shocked he went as low as the fifth. I figured again, third, maybe fourth. Hell, I wouldn't have been shocked if he went second because when he played, he looked great, but he was hurt and people questioned it. Same reason as you guys remember, I talked about Hamsar Nasruddin. Hamsar Nasruddin, same, different player, different reasons. Same situation. High caliber player, played at a high caliber in college, should have been a high draft pick. Because of injury, people were wary. So just like I was saying, Hall is going to show, Hall is going to blow everyone away, Nasruddin is going to show. Nasruddin is going to blow everybody away. In fact, I would say when it comes to coverage ability linebackers right now, next to C.J. Mosley, Hamsar Nasruddin is the best coverage linebacker on the New York Jets. And that's a fact. As a rookie, next to C.J. Mosley, he is the best. So, shout out to Gotham City Vids again. Ask how Kenny Yeboah is doing. Kenny Yeboah is in the same situation that Tristan Hodge is in right now. He, should potentially at minimum, I don't think he would make it through waivers, which is why, as you guys remember, my big take on him was that I don't think he's going to be cut. Because if I were honestly going to look at Kenny Yeboah, he was the second best receiver on Ole Miss behind Elijah Moore. He had over 500 yards last season. And as you guys maybe remember, my big comparison for Kenny Yeboah, Jonnu Smith. Remember Jonnu Smith, the tight end that everybody wanted in free agency? I compare him to Jonnu Smith because Yeboah is really fast and very athletic, but more dangerously when he gets into space, he breaks away. Yeboah is fast. He is legit a receiver with a tight end body. Again, think just like Jonnu Smith. He may not be the best blocker, but he is an outstanding receiving option. And when he breaks away, he's fast. He's quite fast for a guy his size. So I don't think he's going to make it through waivers. I don't think he's going to be cut. But again, same thing like I said with Hodge. You have training camp where you're going to get a shot and preseason. Remember, there are some preseason games, like week 4, for example, where starters don't even play. Starters don't even play that game. He's going to get an opportunity. Remember, I said this about Bryce Huff last year because I thought and I feel I feel like he's still going to prove me true. I feel like Bryce Huff is great. I really liked him. I feel like he's an excellent player and is underappreciated. Had him on the podcast. Remember, excellent guy, but he's a great player. As an undrafted guy last year, people were saying, would he get opportunities? Well, my take was, well, he's not going to get, as many opportunities as the starters are obviously going to get, but he's going to get opportunities. You need to make the most of those opportunities. And if you show in that limited time, they'll give you more time. And that will give you more opportunities to keep showing. And the scale goes from there. And it just gets bigger and bigger. Nobody just gets anything. We know how this works. This is the NFL. Nobody is handed anything. It doesn't work like that. You have to earn it. So guys like Bryce Huff got limited opportunities last year, but he looked damn good. I thought he was going to be good. He played well. And what did he do? He earned more time. And he ended last year, I believe, with 2 sacks, playing really, really well. I think he's going to get more opportunity. Kenny Yeboah, same thing. Throughout training camp, throughout preseason, earn it. Catch a freaking 85-yard touchdown in the preseason. Break away from somebody because, again, when he breaks away, he's fast as hell. He's not a great blocker, but he's an excellent receiving option. If he gets his chance to really shine in the receiving game, I feel like he should really get a chance to shine. And you guys remember my big take. If Tyler Kroft and Ryan Griffin, the 2 veterans on the team, are looking like the best tight ends right now, which – again, I saw again, shout out to Richie earlier. Someone was pointing out, is that a good situation? No, it's not great. It's not ideal. I mean, shit, I'll take George Kittle. I mean, I'll take a great tight end if you want to give me one, but it doesn't work like that. I don't think Tyler Kroft is going to be great by any means, but he looks right now like him and Ryan Griffin are going to be the starters because Herndon is in a contract year. And when you're in a contract year, you're supposed to shine. Like, forget allegiancy or anything like that. You're in a contract year. Like, it's all about you. All these players, somebody says the biggest negative is you're all about you. Well, that's when contract years work in our advantage because they're trying to make their money. Herndon's in a contract year. But he's not showing so far. He's dropping balls to the point where he was running with the 2s. So I think he's going to get opportunities again, just like Kenny Yabo, just like everyone else. He's going to get opportunities. You need to show. And like I've been saying this whole time, the problem is having options. And options is never a problem. Options is never a problem. So I love that our problem right now is who is going to keep on this roster and who's going to get cut, as opposed to, oh my God, who can possibly make us look good? So that's my feeling with Kenny Yabo. So shout out to Grant again. Good comment. Assuming Saleh sticks to his ways from San Francisco and runs a lot of the 4-2-5, which obviously again means 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 in the secondary, whether it be cornerback, safety, however they do it. Who do you think gets the majority of? Probably May. I mean, right? I mean, that's the beauty of this system. And remember, Grant, I pointed this out. The beauty is options. That's the benefit of having hybrid linebackers. Remember when they took Sherwood, I was scratching my head. I was like, well, I remember this dude murders people. Like, I didn't dig too much into safeties, but I remember this dude straight up as a wrecking ball. Like what we wanted, Jamal Adams, at least he killed people. Jamien Sherwood murders people too. He's a legit hitter. But I was like, we don't really need a safety. Then they announced him as linebacker, and I was like, oh, man. And I just immediately thought like Keanu Neal types. Having hybrid players, guys like all of them, Hamza Nasruddin, Sherwood, May even, Ashton Davis. Not as much LaMarcus Joyner, but just the 5 of them can play safety or free or strong or play at the line of scrimmage or be those hybrid linebackers in coverage. You have depth. You have options. So I think it could be Marcus May. Hell, it could be Ashton Davis. Remember when Ashton Davis murdered Cam Newton? That's been my take when everyone forgets about Ashton Davis. I think he's super fast, very athletic, was just a rookie last year, looked okay, looked a little lost in coverage, but again, he's a rookie. He's super fast. He can hit. Like, we saw him flat out knock Cam Newton out of that Patriots game. Like, he blasted him, and that's Cam Newton. That's not a small quarterback by any means. So I look at it as, again, versatility. We have so many options, so many ways to line up. How are you going to defend that? How do you know? Is that guy coming in? Is he dropping back? Is he going into coverage? You don't know. You don't know, and I love that. Versatility, scheming, confusion, that's how you win. That's how you do it. So, again, appreciate you guys again. Keep those comments coming. Ask your questions. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about stuff. As you guys remember, again, I pointed out for all you guys here, I had my training camp preview. I did that. That was 2 weeks ago. You guys can check it out. It was like an hour and a half. We went all into all the positions. Again, I'm happy to get into any of them now, but we went into literally every position. So please check it out. It's up on the channel. Please do that. I'm going to, again, and so this time I figured we're going to do comments. So I figured here, we're just going to talk about stuff leading into training camp, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow starts training camp, which is super, super exciting. So training camp begins. And as we talked about, the pads go on. And when the pads go on, we start to see the men separated from the boys. And then when we get to the preseason and we see what they can actually do against real competition, which is why, remember, guys, I talked about it, so I'm blue in the face. Not getting with anyone who says the preseason shouldn't exist. I mean, heck, feel free to block them. Block their asses. Like, if they say the preseason shouldn't exist, they're out of their minds. You got to see what your team can do against real competition. Everybody changes stuff in the preseason. There's nobody that doesn't say, oh, well, this is perfect, and I'm not changing a thing or scheming this differently or using it. That's crazy. Crazy town. So again, guys, keep your comments coming. That's what we're doing here. Talk about, again, we did our training camp thing. We talked about our positional battles, but please ask anything. Again, ask about a positional battle. Ask about something, you're like, oh, curious about this guy, any player, as you guys know, I like to think I'm pretty knowledgeable. You can ask me about anybody you want, really, and I can tell you about them, give you some stats, tell you why I like him or don't like him, what you like about a certain system. Please do. So going through all your guys' questions, again, I want to make sure I'm covering everybody. Sean points out, shout out to Sean, he says, Herndon isn't a good enough blocker for this system. That's also why I like Kroft too. None of these guys are standout receivers. We have to accept that. We have to call a spade a spade. Mark Sanchez had Dustin Keller. That was really great. We don't have a great tight end right now. I really love our receiver options. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, Kenny Yabo, could potentially become the guy. There's a chance Yabo could, but Herndon, he's an okay blocker. But yeah, Croft, the difference is the way to look at it is this. It's not that Herndon is a bad blocker. It's just that Croft is that good of a blocker. Remember, I told you guys this in the past. There have been offensive linemen in the NFL who have played with Tyler Croft who have commented on not his receiving ability, but his blocking ability. That's huge. Offensive linemen are always infinitely better blockers than tight ends. If they're saying this tight end's a good blocker, that's big. Croft is easily one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. And as I pointed out, don't forget, back with don't believe I'm misspeaking. I think he was with the Bengals. Back with the Bengals, he had a 400-plus yard, 7-touchdown season, and he played really well. So the potential's there. He's done just as good as Herndon ever had. And remember, Griffin had that 300-plus year with the Jets, and both haven't been dropping balls like Chris Herndon has. So I just feel like they right now are at the top. But again, Herndon's pads are going on. Earn it. Get out there and earn it. You're in a contract year. I feel like someone's got to grab Chris Herndon and shake him. Be like, you're in a contract year. This is when you're supposed to get freaking paid. Get out there and get paid. Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to go out there and get paid. Corey Davis had his best year last year in a contract year. Joe Douglas paid him. Chris Herndon's not getting it. So it's all in his hands right now. The ball is in his court. So Vern points out Ashton. I feel like people are sleeping on Ashton. I do. I just feel like, and again, it's the problem is quality. It's a great problem to have. It's not that we don't like Ashton. It's that a lot of people got really excited about LaMarcus Joyner, and they should be excited about LaMarcus Joyner. Remember, I pointed it out when we signed him, and a lot of people pointed it out. PFF showed that for the majority of his career, he played slot corner. And he was bad. But when he played free safety, he had a PFF rating of 90.1, a 90.1 overall grade when he exclusively played safety. And as you remember, that was my big question. As I pointed out, Ulbrich confirmed that he is exclusively going to be playing safety. So my big tape has been the LaMarcus Joyner, Marcus Maye combination could be what we were hoping the Jamal Adams Marcus Maye combination could be. Because again, you got a murderer in Jamian Sherwood. He can play up at the line. Nasruddin hits hard. Maye hits hard. Davis hits hard. Joyner's going to be able to play exclusively roaming safety. And as we saw in the NFL, when he exclusively played a free roaming safety, he had a 90 grade. He was great. So I'm expecting Joyner to play really well. I'm expecting him put where he thrives best, being not asked to do anything else, just playing that role, that he's going to shine. So I'm really excited about him. But don't sleep on Ashton. So again, guys, going through your questions again. Please ask it all. Appreciate you guys being here. So Sean brings up, and he asks everybody, I'm going to throw it out too, who do you think will be the surprise cut? I keep coming back to Herndon. Because, again, the ball's in his court, like I was just saying before. I don't think Yabo's going to pass through waivers. I really, really don't. Again, best receiver on Ole Miss next to Elijah Moore, and he's a tight end. So if you don't think he's going to pass, you don't cut him. And if you're keeping Wesco, because he's a good fullback option and a really good blocker, and Croft and Griffin look like your better tight ends, Herndon could be on his way out. It's very possible. So that's one of my surprise cuts. Chris Herndon. Another surprise cut, that one's tough to pick because, again, I think Fant's safe. People talk about, Fant's making $8 million as a swing tackle. Guys, and I've been saying this like crazy because it's so true. There is no award at the end of the season for extra money. No one goes, congratulations, you won the Super Bowl. Here's your Lombardi Award. And then here's your smaller trophy for having $30 million in cap room. It doesn't happen. That's not real. So there is no award for extra money. As I pointed out, remember, Maccagnan bankrupted this freaking team. Everyone was questioning, why is Joe Douglas doing nothing in 2020? Why is he being smart and only giving out one-year deals to guys to see if they can prove it? To get to here, to get to this point. And we're just going to keep going from this point. So we have money. We can afford to pay Fant. Who cares if Fant is $8 million swing tackle if we have 30 plus million left? And that's my big take, okay? If we have 30 plus million left, who the hell cares if George Fant is an $8 million swing tackle? That is a great option to have, that you got so much money, you're just like, here's $8 million. Play when I want you. That's great. So, and Fant, as we've seen, he's not great. He's not Morgan Moses by any means. As we know, more people are saying, Fant should be starting over Morgan Moses. I don't mean to be mean, but stop that. Stop that. That's crazy. That's crazy town. George Fant was average on his best days last year. And again, not cramming on George Fant. Please don't think that. I'm not crapping on him at all. Again, he's one of the most athletic offensive linemen in the whole league, which is why, as you guys remember, when I saw him lined up at swing tackle, I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to put him out for a 1 yard pass on the goal line. If he's playing swing tackle, I want to use him as he's there, but he's eligible. Fun stuff like that. Let's go back to the old stuff. Excuse me. But George Fant was average on his best days, and unfortunately below average some days too. Morgan Moses has been one of the best right tackles in the NFL his entire career. Always one of the best. When last season, he had his best season yet with an 80 overall PFF grade. Fant's was I think 62. His was 80, but his run blocking was 86. Come on. When we look at Mekhi Becton's run blocking with AVT, we were like, okay, well, the left side of the line is going to make people crumble. What about the right side? Well, Morgan Moses, man. Morgan Moses is a beast. He is a big man and a beast, but he's also athletic. You guys remember me tweeting that video of him not just holding his own against TJ Watt, but dominating TJ Watt. He was legit not just keeping TJ Watt at bay, but putting him down. I was blown away. Right when I saw that footage, I was like, that's it, Morgan's ours. We need this kid. George Fant is good, but Morgan Moses has the ability to keep elite edge rushers like TJ Watt at bay. That is an extremely rare trait. So there is no doubt in my mind that Morgan Moses would be playing right tackle, which is why I say, why the hell not? Let's see if George Fant can play right guard. If he can, awesome. If he's better than Van Roten, we solved it. If not, Van Roten is the guard and Fant is the swing tackle. It doesn't matter. You still have him. He's not going anywhere. Because again, we have more than enough money to pay an $8 million swing tackle. It's expensive, but we can afford it. So Fant stays because George Douglas knows what the hell he's doing. He's got the money to spend, and there's no award for extra money at the end of the season. And there's no guarantee for injuries. Think about this right now. I don't want to jinx anybody, so please, fingers crossed, biting tongue. I don't want to jinx anybody, but God forbid, Mekhi Becton had an issue. We saw last year, not only did Morgan Moses have his best season yet, he played left tackle. He had to play left tackle, pick up the slack, and he was good. So Morgan Moses can play left tackle, and then George Fant's the right tackle. If there's an issue at right tackle, you have George Fant. You want depth, you want quality. We can afford him. Fant is not going anywhere. So, again, back to you guys' questions. Again, appreciate them all. Thank you guys for bringing them in. Going through all of them right now. Please keep them coming. Keep coming all your questions. Appreciate it. And as I pointed out, we did our training camp preview already. I just want to talk about stuff. Talk about all the different positions. Shout out to Frankie from Flatbush. Frankie points out Fant backs up both tackle positions, which is true. He does. People do forget that before we drafted Mekhi Becton, it was believed that George Fant could possibly be the left tackle. Granted, he wasn't that great at right tackle. He was average on his best days. So he would not have been that great a left tackle, but we got Mekhi Becton. He was projected to potentially be the left tackle. So Fant backs up both tackles, like Frankie points out, and Feeney is a backup at both guard and center. And 100%, man, 100% correct. And that's the point. You need depth. We've so many times throughout all the years had injury problems. This offensive lineman gets hurt. Now we're one piece. We went from being a decent offensive line to a train wreck because now we have a giant black hole in it. We have three studs along that offensive line. As you guys remember, I point out back in 2009, 2010, when the team was really good, when Sanchez was playing well, he had a quality offensive line. Names, studs like DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Nick Mangold, Willie Colon, I don't know why I'm blank. I apologize. Damian Woody, Brandon Moore. So much talent. We have three studs between Becton, Moses on the other side, and AVT. So we need McGovern to step up. We need the right guard, whoever they are, to step up. But injuries happen. Unfortunately, they do. The benefit of all this, Moses, like we said, can play left tackle. Fant can play right or even both. Feeney has never missed a game. People say, yeah, Dan Feeney's been bad. It's true. Dan Feeney was drafted in 2017, and he wasn't good. He wasn't good by any sense of the word. But he's never missed a game throughout his entire NFL career. He has never missed a single game. And that is very, very crucial and an underrated aspect. So we have depth. God forbid we do have injury. Harry points out Fant is a great swing tackle. Fant would make a great swing tackle because if he was decent at a right tackle, he would be great next to Moses. Him next to Moses will be murdering people. Defenders will see Morgan and Fant coming at each other, and they'll just fall down. They'll just be like, I give up. I surrender. It's too much. That's going to be a wrecking ball, man. So, yeah, Fant was a decent right tackle. Fant would make a hell of a swing tackle, without question. Vern points out, the GVR is one of the offensive leaders. He is. He 100% is. Because as we saw with George Fant last year, veteran leadership goes a long way. George Fant was a first-time Jet last year. Yet, he was made the captain. The offensive line all unanimously picked him to be captain. Well, he's a leader, but he's also an older guy. He's a veteran presence. Van Roten is another veteran presence. But what I like the most about Van Roten, shout out, I'm a fellow Long Islander. I live on Long Island. Van Roten is a fellow Islander. Greg Van Roten played on Long Island. I believe he's from Lindenhurst. He played on the island, and he went to an Ivy League school. He's very highly educated. He went to UPenn, if I believe. He's a UPenn offensive lineman, which is very quality. He's smart, which again, as I've talked about, offensive linemen need to be smart. They're underappreciated. It's not just the quarterback that needs to be able to pick up assignments and alignments and certain situations and make changes. The offensive linemen need to as well. Having intelligence is crucial. Van Roten is a UPenn graduate. He's pretty smart. And like I talked about on the Carolina Panthers, he was one of their better offensive guards. He was average. He was an average offensive guard for many years. He wasn't that good last year, but again, give him another chance. He's been looking good in camp, and our other options I don't feel like are as good. So I definitely think Van Roten's going to be the guy. So again, guys, appreciate your questions. Keep them coming. Yeah, like Frankie said, man, that's what I was saying. Swing tackle and a jumbo package tight end. Like, bro, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I'm back to William the Refrigerator Perry. Let's put George Fant at fullback and let's let him knock a dude down. Let's ready. I'm ready. I'm just so interested in all the unique ways you can use a guy like George Fant with his unbelievable athleticism, his versatility. It's really, really exciting. It's interesting to watch. So that's going to be exciting. Appreciate your comments, guys. Again, keep them up. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Grant. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Vern. Shout out to James. Shout out to Frankie. Shout out to Salmon. Salmon says thoughts about Lawrence Cager. Man, I was a big fan. As you guys know, I was a really, really big Lawrence Cager fan. I really was excited about him. He's not the fastest guy, but he's quick enough for his size. He's big, and he makes contested catches. He's excellent at contested catches. He's got an outstanding catch radius. I really, really liked his potential. Problem was, he got hurt on a non-contact injury. As you guys know, that's a problem. Like I say all the time, like when people are talking about, do we have to worry too much about I don't know why I'm blanking at the moment. Wyatt Davis. People were asking, do we have to worry too much about Wyatt Davis's injuries? I was saying playing injuries is one thing. This is a contact game. People are, bending, twisting. You get hurt all the time. When I see a player get hurt without contact, that's when I get really worried. Remember, Lawrence Cager wasn't contacted. He just kind of cut, and that was it. So I really, really like his potential, but I'm really, really worried. I don't know. And as a future tight end, again, I'm worried about his health. I just want to see if he can even, get healthy, stay healthy, make it onto the field. Because I thought he had potential last year, especially as a red zone threat. Again, with that big body, physicality, able to make that contested catch, strong. I really wanted to see what he can do in the red zone, specifically, as well as other things. But he's got to get healthy first. So again, guys, appreciate the comments. Appreciate all you guys. So you guys are having good conversations. You guys are talking about jinxes, funny stuff. There's no jinxes, man. I mean, you make your own destiny. I've always felt that way. I mean, jinxes, I feel like, there's an important thing. It's called self-fulfilling prophecies. When you say something enough times, it's like a mindset, If you're doom and gloom all the time, if you look at everything as everything sucks, then guess what? Everything sucks because you're looking at it as suck. If you look at it as today's going to be a better day, things are brighter. If you try to find meaning, you'll find that meaning. It's self-fulfilling prophecy. I really, really do. So I'm not as big in the jinx thing. I do believe that, you create your own destiny and your mindset makes a very, very big difference in all of it. And that's why we talked about last year how all Jet fans felt, how they felt about Adam Gase and the situation while we were going through dealing with him. The mindset has changed. People, we feel different. We're excited about the direction we're going. So again, guys, James points out I'm the truth. I guess you're the truth. If you're the truth, give me some truth, my bro. Give me some truth, and we'll shoot it up in the chats. But again, guys, I appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in, like always. Please bring your comments. I mean, that's what we're doing, right? That's what we said. Because again, I did the training camp breakdown. If you guys haven't seen it again, please check it out. If you haven't, and I also please, if you haven't, please subscribe. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. Much, much appreciated. So. Looking at some of the comments. Frankie's hot take, there is no objective reality. Life is an illusion. Everything is nothing. I need my screen to just start spinning as I say that. Like, imagine the screen is spinning and I'm like, we're slipping into infiniteness. I don't know. Like Sean says it's all the simulation. It's all a simulation. Well, isn't that the thing now, right? Isn't that like the thing people say? Like, there's a chance that we're simulated, right? Like, there's like, what is it? It's like that. Like we're like basically like in a computer, basically in a way, and we're like playing it out, right? Basically, is what I understand it as. Like we're playing it out, like we're puppets. We're dancing it out, basically. I mean, it's a little grim. I guess it's one way to look at it. But yeah, guys, like I said, bring Vern asks a good question. Shout out to Vern. Vern says, you think fans pissed because I don't know if he was originally, he says, he was originally told to be a left tackle. I don't know if he was originally told he was going to be a left tackle because, if Joe wanted Mekhi Becton, obviously he wanted a blindside tackle. Joe was going into this draft knowing we need a blindside tackle. So I don't think Fant came in thinking he was going to be the left tackle. But I do definitely think he came into this season thinking he was the right tackle. I mean, he was the right tackle last year, and we didn't do anything in free agency before the draft. And we didn't draft any tackles. So I think he thinks he was the guy. Is he pissed? It varies. I mean, and it comes down to the players. That's what it is. I mean, we see it all the time in the NFL. Let's put ourselves in the player perspective. Let's put the player hat on perspective. If you're George Fant, there's a myriad of ways you can react. If I'm George Fant, I can get furious and I can get angry and I can be really upset. But I need to show I just lost my position right now. We've seen a lot of guys, maybe they do get furious and angry, but if they don't step up, they can't get another position. Fant needs to either, again, earn the right guard spot right now, or maybe potentially next year earn a spot somewhere else. But that's what you need to do. You need to, it's the NFL. The NFL is a business. The NFL is about constantly getting better. You can't fault the team for, going in another direction. Players say all the time when they get traded, to a place they wanted, they say to the fans, well, the NFL is a business. Well, guess what? It works both ways. The NFL is a business. So you don't always work your way. Doesn't always get who you want. Moses is a clear upgrade. And again, I don't hate Fant, and that's the way to look at it. This is a business. I don't hate George Fant. If I could see George Fant, I'd tell him that he's an excellent guy. I've heard he's a really excellent guy, that he cares about people, he does charities. He's an awesome guy. But Morgan Moses is a substantial and clear upgrade. It's just a fact. And the NFL is a business. So he can be pissed, but that's the way you really should be approaching it, I think, in my opinion. Grant asks, when and where did Feeney play center? I have to look it up, but didn't he play a little center for the Chargers? I mean, was it always guard? I have to look it up, honestly. I don't know if you guys know, I thought he played a little center. I did. I thought he played guard and center when he was with the Chargers. And if not, I mean, I'm pretty confident he played center in Indiana. I don't, want to quote myself, but I'm pretty confident he played center in Indiana. And I thought he played center a little bit with the Chargers, even though he mainly played guard. Yep. Shout out to Frankie. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. You guys can be my fact checkers. Appreciate it. Thank you. He points out that he started 16 games at center last year. I was pretty confident that Feeney had played center for the Chargers and that he'd also played center at Indiana. But what I liked about him, and I point out, guys, I was a fan. I was one of the people back in 2017. I was a Feeney fan. I really thought he was a sleeper out of Indiana, that he would potentially go like in the third, fourth round, which he did, kind of like Cameron Clark, and that I wanted him. But he hasn't shown up. I mean, we'll be honest. We'll call a spade a spade. Again, don't get me wrong, he's a great dude. Dan Feeney, in short time, has become the mascot for the New York Islanders. Dan Feeney is now, forget Sparky. Sparky's done. Dan Feeney is now the official mascot of the New York Islanders. Come on. He's crashing the beer on his head. He's got the energy. The players love to be around him, and he's never missed a game. Forget if he's a starter. He's played 4 years in the NFL. I'm going to bring it up right now to make my point. Hold on one second. Dan Feeney, from 2018, 2019, and 2020. All 3 seasons, he played in 16 games. He started in 16 games. He ended 16 games. Dan Feeney is the definition of durability. So again, he's not starting, but biting my tongue, crossing my fingers, whatever I need to do. But if, God forbid, Connor McGovern gets hurt, Feeney's the man up. Dan Feeney's the man for the position. And it's good to know that if you lose someone like McGovern, Feeney's never been hurt. Feeney's not just the man to step up. He's never been hurt. That is good. So, shout out, Gotham points out, Denzel Mims had a nearly identical combine to Julio Jones. This is my take, bro. And I checked this out because I remember when I was watching Denzel Mims back, when the draft was happening, back at Baylor with the college tape, going into when the Jets first drafted him, my immediate thoughts were he just reminded me of A.J. Brown. Just his body, the way he uses his body, he just reminded me of A.J. Brown. So I looked into it. And guys, I tweeted this out. Please check it out if you want. Denzel Mims matched A.J. Brown to a T. Check it out. I tweeted it. Their combines are literally identical. It was really scary. If I crossed the names out, you would legit not same height, same weight, basically, same everything. Hold on, wait a minute. Vernon's got some breaking news here that's freaking me out. Vern says that Madden, so I haven't looked at the new Madden ratings yet, I got to say. I was on, again, shout out to Richie, I was on Jets Media's podcast earlier. He was pointing out the Madden ratings, and the Madden was coming out and pointing out, the Zach Wilson ratings. Said Zach Wilson had a 94 arm strength, which again, like he said, and I love it because remember, that's always been my big take. He's got great arm strength, but it's not what I look for. His arm strength is important to me, but it's like number 4 on my list. Maybe 3. 3-ish 4. It's around there. It's not the top things. It really isn't. But Vern says Madden has Austin as our highest rated cornerback. Man, that's disrespect to Hall. I'm sorry. That's just, and again, no insult to Bless Austin, even though, again, as you guys know, I keep pointing it out. Bless blocked me, and I'm sad, man. I'm really devastated. Like, I'm honestly sad because, like, you guys know I've been a fan. Like, since we drafted him, just like Hall, I've done nothing but talk about Bless Austin. So I don't get it. But Hall, man, Hall is our best corner on that team, without question. Gotham points out, shout out, bro, I appreciate it. 9/11, I like to report a crime. I just don't get it because, like, back when we drafted him, I was like, man, this kid out of Temple has unbelievable potential. Like, this kid's really, really good. He was just like Hall. I mean, not the same as Hall, but similar to Hall. I was saying that he was a later round draft pick because he was injured, but when he played, he had, potential first or second round talent. I really, really liked him. So I still do. I still do. I'm a little hurt. I'll be honest. I'm telling you, Bless. I'm a little injured that I got blocked. I don't know why, but I've always been a big fan. I always felt that he could step up and be that guy. And he definitely could. But best corner on the team, I got to disagree. I'm sorry, Austin, but Bryce Hall is the best corner on this team. And I would even argue that, like Sean says, Bryce Hall got disrespected. I would even argue Javelin Guidry, I think, is getting a little disrespected. Because remember what I pointed out about Guidry? Javelin Guidry came in for Brian Poole last year. Brian Poole, one of the best slot cornerbacks in the entire NFL. Guidry comes in, Jets don't miss a beat. They look just as good as if Poole was in the game. Now, we said Poole was one of the best slot corners in the game. Guidry, it turned out, only rated a couple of points under PFF in coverage. Poole came in at like 77 something in coverage last year. Guidry came in at 73 something. And Guidry is a 22-year-old undrafted rookie free agent from last year. I mean, the potential, I couldn't believe it. I thought, my big thing with Guidry, we drafted him. Same thing with Ashton Davis. I was like, this kid's a burner. Like, this is a track kid. Like, Javelin Guidry is fast, like fast, like sub 4.3 fast, like ridiculous fast. I wondered how he'd be in coverage. But again, came in for Brian Poole last year, didn't miss a beat. Just as good as an undrafted rookie. So I think he's being a little disrespected as well. I think Michael Carter is going to show everybody what he can do. Michael Carter's looked better than Guidry according to reports in OTAs, which is surprising because I really thought Guidry would be the guy. So there's definitely a lot of disrespect in that cornerback room. Sean points out Jets go win the Super Bowl. Madden would have them rated as an 83. It's the narrative, man. It's the freaking narrative. It's that LOL Jets narrative. You guys remember my quick take on it. It's very, very simple. It's with the whole NFL. They say, oh, it's not just you guys. It's not just the Jets. Well, you just haven't won. You haven't won in forever, so we like to make fun of you. Well, as you guys remember, the Detroit Lions are one of the oldest franchises in the history of football. They way outdate the Jets. They're one of the oldest franchises, period. And not just did the Detroit Lions not win a Super Bowl, they didn't even win an NFL championship. We at least have one Super Bowl. They don't disrespect the Lions nearly as much. Now, what's the other argument? Remember, the Jets go through quarterbacks like crazy. It's a quarterback carousel there. That's why we make fun of them. Well, the Cleveland Browns have went through infinitely more quarterbacks than us. For like a 10-year period, the Cleveland Browns went through like 25 quarterbacks. Like, it was downright crazy town. So these arguments, the Jets are easy, the low-hanging fruit. People like to make fun of the Jets. It's become a narrative. I don't think they're doing it. Maybe some are doing it maliciously. I will say that. There's probably some doing it maliciously. But honestly, we've just become the low-hanging fruit. We've become the fruit that everybody likes to make fun of. Like, I forgot. I think it was Empire. I don't remember the TV show, but remember, I think maybe you guys know. You can bring it up. There was a TV show. Remember, they showed the commercial on Twitter where the guy was like, oh, well, at least I'm not as bad as the Jets. And everyone was like, ha, ha, ha. That's just what it is now, but it's changing. It is a culture change that started with Joe Douglas. You bring in the right GM. Remember, it all trickles down. It trickles down from the top, from the people he brings in, from the decision making to the trades, to the team, to the draft. Joe does it all right, and it trickles down from there. Now we have Robert Saleh in. Man, this is exciting. So, again, guys, bring your comments. We'll stay a little bit longer. Grant points out, again, to Grinry. Sorry, my apologies. Been talking a little while. I ran out of my water. My throat's a little dry, so you guys can hear me raspy, so I can give you my raspy voice a little bit. But Grant makes an excellent point. Guidry, as I pointed out before, he stupid fast. Like, remember, I said Javelin Guidry could pretty much run toe for toe with Tyreek Hill. Like, I don't take that back. I said that last season, in the beginning of the season when we signed him, and I stick to it. I think Javelin Guidry could run toe for toe with Tyreek Hill. Like, that dude is, like Grant says, stupid fast. He is stupid fast. But here's what I love about it. We have three potential guys in the slot right now. You can remember my take on this, guys. We got Michael Carter, Javelin Guidry, and Brandon Echols. Echols is interesting because Echols is 5'11", but he's got a small frame. Echols is like, he's definitely a slot corner, but he's just small enough to not be an outside corner. Could he be one of those smaller outside corners? We've seen them. We've seen 5'11", 180-something pound outside corners. So he could potentially be one. But taking Brandon Echols, all three of them. Brandon Echols runs a 4.33 40. Out of Guidry, Michael Carter, and Echols, Echols is the slowest. Like, I still can't believe when I say that sentence, it still messes with me. Like when I say Echols runs a 4.33 and he's our slowest slot cornerback because Michael Carter runs a 4.3 flat and Guidry runs a 4.28, 4.29. So there is just ridiculous speed in that position. And that's why people point out, remember, I'm not going to go too into it, but you guys remember the big knock on Jason Pinnock was, but guys, he gets beat over the top against speed guys. Yeah. What do you expect? Remember, we talked about, I told you, I know it because I watch Pitt. I'm a Pitt fan. I have friends who are Pitt fans. I know a lot of Pitt fans. They tell me this, so I know it. But feel free to check it out if you don't know it. Pitt cornerbacks are on an island. Outside cornerbacks live or die on an island. There is no over-the-top help. So a speed guy is going to beat a Jason Pinnock. But guess what? Bryce Hall in one-on-one, without over-the-top help, would lose to a speed guy too. Remember, Jason Pinnock is a big physical cornerback, just like Bryce Hall. They both run a 4.5 40. They're not burners by any means. Guess what? The Brandon Echols, the Michael Carter, Javelin Guidry, those are the guys to cover the speed guys. That's what you want to see. So I see all your guys' comments again. Shout out, appreciate you guys. Lindy says, appreciate it. Appreciate Lindy said, loved you with Richie today. Appreciate it. I'm really, really glad you guys tuned in. Really, really glad you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for checking me out there. Again, if you guys haven't, remember, for those of you guys tuning in from Richie's show, I'm live here every Monday at 7 p.m. So every Monday on YouTube, 7 p.m., the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast goes live. So put it in your calendar. Please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it if you subscribed. Thank you so much. So Steven said he's 5'11", he's playing outside. That's what's interesting about Echols. It's what I like about him. I mean, Echols, when drafted, was originally looked at by most draft eval people as a slot corner because he's 5'11", but he's really only about 178 pounds, maybe 180, like tops. He's not a big guy. Now, he jumps. Don't get me wrong. That's why, again, I consider him as an outside guy. I tweeted this out the other day. Brandon Echols jumped a 42.5-inch vertical. That's high. That's really high. I repeat, Brandon Echols jumped a 42.5-inch vertical. So with his great speed, he could potentially be an outside guy. Steven, you're not wrong. He could definitely be an outside guy. But because of his smaller frame and his great lateral ability, again, remember, he's super fast and super agile. He was projected as a slot guy. But with that 42.5-inch vertical, he could be an outside guy. It's very, very possible. I want to point out Grant's comment because Grant makes an excellent point here. Excellent point. So he says, I'm really curious to see what the Jets secondary does. Salah keeps talking about how CBs that can win in man. Yes, you are correct, Grant. And I had the immediate thought too. And not in a bad way. It got me excited. But I had that immediate thought because I realized, when Javelin Guidry last year thrived in man coverage, Bless Austin last year struggled in zone coverage, but thrived in his rookie year in man coverage. Bryce Hall is to be the full thing, man. Remember, Bryce Hall thrived in the zone in college. People questioned his man. His man coverage was outstanding last year. Absolutely outstanding. So that guy checks man and zone with a check plus. So he really is that CB1. But again, Austin was used out of his position. You think Robert Saleh is going to put a guy like Javelin Guidry in zone coverage if he thrives in man? Same thing with Michael Carter. As you guys remember, I pointed it out. When the Jets drafted Michael Carter, remember, I went through the list. Not Joe Douglas. Robert Saleh told Michael Carter, remember the second, not the running back, the DB. Excuse me. The DB. He told the DB, Michael Carter II, I'm drafting you. I don't have it in front of me, but like for all these different abilities, but one of the abilities he mentioned was his man coverage ability. He told Michael Carter II, I'm exclusively drafting you for your man coverage ability. So what does that mean? And again, I talked to you guys about it before. Why does Saleh, like Graham points out, Saleh keeps talking about CBs that can win in man? It's because we're going to be doing it all. Robert Saleh is not going to be the Adam Gase. In fact, he's going to be the opposite of Adam Gase, as opposite as he can be. Remember, Adam Gase would try to fit a round peg into a square freaking hole and try to fight it through and keep fighting it through and just keep fighting it through and never stop. Saleh's going to be adaptive. He's going to use his corners to his strength. Bless Austin thrives in man. Play him in man. Hall can do it all. Guidry, Carter, if they're better in shout out to Steven. He points it out, man. It's true, bro. I'm parched. Harrison is parched. He's fighting through it. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for noticing. I am fighting through. So if you notice the rasp, it's not on purpose, just happening. But on that secondary, he's going to use his guys to his strength. There's going to be, oh, thank you, Steven. I appreciate it. Thank you. Says act pretty sharp sounding. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. But so you're going to use your guys to your strengths. If you have a guy, like Bless Austin, for example, he's better in man coverage. The defense isn't going to be, okay, well, this is all zone or this is all man. You see both. We see hybrid defenses all the time. Well, Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas went out and got their hybrid defenders, their hybrid linebackers. Why would they not be lining up in a hybrid defense? So we're going to see on the field all the time. We're going to see defenders in zone coverage, defenders in man coverage on the field at the same time. Appreciate you guys. Shout out, grab a beverage, preferably a beer. Like Grant says, though, Grant points it out here as well, the possibilities are endless. That's the key here, man. The possibilities are endless. This defense, it's going to be a hybrid defense. You're going to have defenders in man coverage and zone coverage at the same time. He's going to use players to his strengths. It's not going to be, again, forcing that round peg into a square hole. It's putting the square peg in the square hole, the round peg in the round hole at the same time. That's what Robert Saleh is going to do. It's going to be really, really exciting to watch. So I'm very, very excited about that. And again, guys, bring your comments. We'll stay for a little bit longer. Lindy's points out again, is anyone concerned about Wilson not being signed? I appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you missed a little bit earlier in the show, I talked about it. Please check it out. As you guys know, when the show's done being live, you can check it out. Go back, watch earlier in the show. Please check it out. I went into Zach Wilson. My whole take was, don't worry about it. Zach Wilson's going to be our quarterback. He's not going anywhere. Don't let it stress you. He's our guy. So you guys are all saying go grab a drink. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Well, we're only going to stay on a little bit longer, unless you guys have some more questions. I mean, if you have some more questions, I'm definitely happy to stay on a little bit longer. But yeah, if you got some questions, please bring it. Appreciate it. Grab a Bud Light, grab a Perrier. I don't have a Perrier. I do have water. So I will be able to get some water in a little bit. But again, if you guys have any other questions, I'm definitely happy to stay on a little bit longer. But it's been a lot of fun talking with you guys because again, we do a fan Q&A. It goes over an hour because this is the fun of it, guys. This is it. It's just talking about the Jets. You guys bring in your questions, bring in your comments, chatting with each other. I give you my 2 cents. It's a lot of fun. So as you guys remember, again, in case you didn't, I have my training camp preview already. I already did my video. I went through all the positional battles. Remember, I said there's like 10. There's legit a lot of positional battles, and it's exciting. I went through every single player and all the guys that could potentially be in that battle. Went through like 5 or 6 guys at each position. So please check it out. It's like 2 videos ago. That was my training camp preview as well as my positional battles. But yeah, guys, I definitely really do appreciate it. So, but yeah, like always, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. I appreciate you guys being part of it, you know, joining in. Because again, that's the beauty of it, man. We're having a conversation, we're talking, we're chatting. Like you guys say, get that drink. Don't worry, I will, guys. Don't worry, I'm going to get that drink. Problem is I ran out of my water. I drank a little beforehand. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm excited. This is an exciting time. Training camp starts tomorrow. So tomorrow, it all begins. Training camp starts, and it's going to be really, really exciting. It's going to be fun. The pads go on. The boys are going to be separated from the men. Preseason's going to start. We're going to see how our guys do against real competition. I'm excited. But thank you guys again for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. I appreciate you guys being here on your Monday evening. I know you guys can be anywhere. I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Really love bringing you guys takes on the Jets, chatting with you guys. Appreciate all you guys in the comments. It was fun doing the fan Q&A. Man, we did a fan Q&A for a long time. We just talk about it. I love it. So again, guys, you always bring your comments. Happy to talk about it. Happy to bring it all up. Thank you, like always, for tuning in. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. We're live every Monday at 7 p.m. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Remember, training camp starts tomorrow. It's going to be really exciting. Sean says, have a good night. You guys have a good night, too.